Hey guys, tonight we're staying up way past bedtime because the red planet just whispered my name and I can't unhear it. The air in the comms shack is thick with recycled chill, the kind that clings to your skin like frost on a forgotten window. Outside the viewport, Phobos drifts low and slow, a chipped bone in the black. I'm alone on monitor duty, headphones heavy, the soft click of the cooling fans the only heartbeat in the room. You probably won't make it to the end of this one. The static has teeth tonight. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I want to know where the dark finds you when the story ends. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's descent together. It starts with a blip, not the usual solar wind chatter or the lazy ping of a rover heartbeat, but a deliberate pulse, 3 short, 3 long, 3 short again. Morse for SOS, if anyone still remembered the alphabet of panic. I lean closer to the spectrograph, the screen's blue glow painting the hollows under my eyes. The signal originates from grid 47.2 north, 18.3 east, an unremarkable patch of rust-colored nothing the orbiters flagged years ago as geologically quiet. Quiet is a lie Mars tells to keep its secrets. I log the anomaly, tag it Mars, ANOM 1147, and route the raw data to Houston. They'll sleep on it. I can't. Curiosity coils in my chest like warm mercury. I patch the feed through my headphones, volume low, just enough to taste. Beneath the carrier wave lies a subharmonic thrum, 7.83 hertz, the Schumann resonance, Earth's own pulse, bleeding across 90 million kilometers of vacuum. That's the scientific anchor, a frequency that shouldn't exist on a dead world. I crank the gain. The thrum thickens, becomes a texture, velvet dragged across obsidian. My scalp prickles. Somewhere in the dark between stations, the signal breathes. I should clock out. Shift ended 20 minutes ago. Instead, I cue the deep space array, tilt the dish a fraction west, and ride the beam like a surfer chasing a wave that never breaks. The thrum resolves into structure, geometric, almost architectural, angles folding into angles the way M.C. Escher folded staircases into nightmares. I sketch it on the back of a duty roster, a lattice of equilateral triangles, each vertex pulsing in sequence. The pattern feels older than language. Mythic, like the moment before the first god opened its eye and decided light was worth the bother. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to know its lullabies. Yet here I am, headphones sweating against my ears, letting Mars sing me to sleep with a voice that isn't human. The temperature in the shack drops 2 degrees. The thermostat insists otherwise. I taste metal. My reflection in the black monitor looks thinner, as if the glass is a membrane, and something on the other side is sipping me slowly. Hours slip. The signal loops, patient. I record every cycle, timestamp each inflection. At 3:14 local the thrum fractures, a single note held too long. Then silence, so complete my pulse fills the void. I rip the headphones off. The room hums with absence. On the spectrograph, the blip is gone, but the afterimage burns, a negative space shaped like a door left ajar. I stare at the coordinates glowing on my tablet. 47.2, 18.3. Tomorrow the rover team will laugh, call it noise, file it under instrument drift. Tonight I know better. Something down there just introduced itself, and it used my own frequency to shake my hand. The fan keeps whispering. Outside, The Martian sky is a lid screwed tight over whatever waits beneath the dust. I close the log, but the thrum lingers in the bones behind my ears, patient, counting heartbeats until I dig. The next night, the dust storm arrives without warning, a red wall rolling across the horizon like a bruise that learned to walk. Inside the hab, the air recyclers whine and protest, filters clogging with iron oxide that tastes of blood and pennies. I'm off shift, but I'm here anyway, hunched over the terminal, rerunning Mars, ANOM, 1147 through every filter the array can stomach. The storm scrambles the uplink. Houston's replies arrive in fragments, lag stretching each syllable into a yawn. They want a second confirmation before they wake the principal investigator. I give them silence instead. Curiosity has teeth now. I volunteer for the rover op. Someone has to babysit the drill rig when the telemetry drops. The team leader shrugs. Overtime is overtime. By 2200 hours local, I'm suited up, mag boots clanging down the ramp into the gale. The wind screams at 120 kilometers per hour, but the sound is wrong, pitched lower than physics allows, as if the planet itself is clearing its throat. Visibility is a memory. I follow the beacon pings, each step a negotiation with gravity that feels suddenly negotiable. The site is a shallow crater, 30 meters across, rimmed with basalt teeth. The rover, callsign Curie, sits squat and patient, drill arm poised like a praying mantis. I override manual, drop the bit. Regolith parts with a sigh, finer than talc, warmer than it has any right to be. Thermocouple reads 28 degrees Celsius at 2 meters depth. The diurnal average is minus 60. That's the anchor. Geothermal gradients don't climb, they bleed. Something is cooking the bones of Mars from the inside. At 4 meters, the bit chatters, metal on metal. Sparks fountain in the headlamp. Brief orange constellations dying before they reach the sky. Curie's camera feed stutters. I lean in. The borehole glows faintly, not reflected light, but self-emitted, a bruised violet that hurts to focus on. The dust around the rim settles into perfect concentric rings, as if the planet exhaled and forgot to inhale. I taste ozone through the suit filters. My heartbeat sinks to the 7.83 hertz thrum I never told the team about. It's back, louder, threaded through the drill motor like a second voice. Fear arrives polite, tapping my shoulder. I should abort. Protocol is clear. Unknown emission, evacuate radius. Instead, I lower the fiber optic probe. The lens adjusts, autofocus hunting. Shapes resolve. Angles again, but physical now. Edges sharp enough to cut the feed with static. A lattice, equilateral, descending in fractal steps. Each node is a sphere the size of a grapefruit, matte black, drinking light. The camera's white balance fails. The spheres register as absence, holes punched in reality. One of them pulses. The probe cable goes slack in my glove, suddenly warm, almost feverish. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to touch its fossils while they're still breathing. Yet my fingers close around the cable, feeding it deeper, greedy for the next frame. The lattice widens into a chamber, walls smooth as obsidian, reflecting nothing. In the center floats, or grows, a polyhedron, 12 faces, each a perfect rhombus, edges limbed in that same violet bruise. It turns slowly, though nothing touches it. The motion is tidal, inevitable. I feel the turn in my gut, a slow roll like seasickness in vacuum. Curie's battery indicator flashes amber. I ignore it. The polyhedron completes a rotation and the borehole darkens, as if a shutter closed behind my eyes. The thrum becomes a chord, 3 notes braided, climbing. My suit speakers crackle with my own breathing, but the cadence is off. Inhale, exhale, pause. Inhale. Someone else is using my lungs to keep time. I jerk the probe. The cable resists, then whips free with a wet pop. The end is frayed, fibers glowing like fiber optics dipped in plasma. I stare at it. The glow spells something in the dust at my feet, letters I almost recognize before the wind erases them. I stagger back. The crater rim is closer than memory allows. The storm has sculpted the sand into ridges that point inward toward the hole. Curie's floodlights dim, then flare, strobing in the same 7.83 rhythm. In the flicker, I see footprints leading away from the borehole, my footprints, but they continue past where I stand, vanishing over the rim into darkness I haven't crossed. The fear sharpens into awe, cold and bright. Whatever is down there knows the shape of my soles. I seal the site with hazard tape that flutters like prayer flags. The storm peaks, howling in frequencies that rattle my molars. I trudge back to the hab, each step heavier, as if the planet is learning my weight. Inside, I strip the suit. The inner lining is damp, not with sweat, but with condensation that smells of petrichor and burnt copper. I bag the frayed cable, label it evidence, and lock it in the sample safe. The thrum follows me, softer now, a lullaby threaded through the air handlers. Sleep is impossible. I replay the feed on the wall screen, frame by frame. At 47 minutes and 12 seconds, the polyhedron aligns a face toward the probe. For one frozen instant, the rhombus is a mirror. My helmet reflection stares back, but the visor is empty. No face, just the violet glow pooling where I should be. The image loops. I can't blink it away. Dawn creeps violet across the sky, the storm spent. The borehole is capped, the rover powered down, but the lattice is patient. It has all the time the universe forgot to give us. I sit in the mess hall, coffee cooling, and watch the dust settle into new patterns on the window. Triangles, always triangles. The thrum is in the bulkheads now, in the blood behind my ears. I whisper to the empty room. I'm listening, and the walls answer with my own voice, delayed by a heartbeat, saying the same words a fraction slower, as if teaching me the correct tempo for surrender. Nights bleed into one another now, the Habs chronometer a lyre ticking in the corner of my eye. I avoid the mess hall windows. The dust patterns have evolved, triangles nesting into hexagons that shift when I blink. The frayed cable sits in the safe, but I feel its glow through the bulkhead, a phantom itch under my skin. Houston greenlit a deeper probe. Curiosity is contagious, even across the void. They call it an artifact, frame it in grant proposals. I call it nothing. Names invite ownership, and this thing owns already. I'm back at the crater by 2300 hours, the storm's aftermath a glassy crust underfoot, cracking like eggshells with each step. Curie's arm is extended, a new probe rigged with high-res spectrometers and a seismic thumper. The borehole yawns wider now, dilated by yesterday's intrusion. I activate the thumper first, a low-frequency pulse to map the cavity. The ground answers immediately, the 7.83 Hz thrum rising like a tide, syncing with the device's rhythm until they're indistinguishable. Echoes return distorted, the polyhedron's faces bending the waves into knots. Curiosity pulls me closer. I suit up tighter this time, seals double-checked, as if latex and Kevlar could bar the door. The probe descends on a winch, camera feed crisp on my helmet HUD. At 6 meters the lattice reappears, spheres pulsing in welcome, their black surfaces now etched with faint lines, capillaries of violet light tracing paths that loop without end. The polyhedron dominates the chamber, larger than the feed suggested, its rhombi faces breathing, expanding, contracting, in a cadence that matches my exhalations. I hold my breath. It holds with me. The scientific anchor grounds me. Quantum entanglement, particles linked across distance, influencing each other instantaneously. But this isn't particles. It's me and the machine, separated by regolith yet breathing as one. I whisper into the comms mic, test transmission, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. The words echo down the probe, digitized, harmless. Silence swallows them. Then, from the speakers, my voice returns. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, but pitched lower, vowels stretched like taffy, consonants softened into sighs. The delay is exactly the time light takes to cross the chamber and back, but the alteration isn't echo, it's interpretation. Fear slips in, cool as nitrogen mist. I repeat the test. This time the return is fragmented. Alpha, Charlie, Bravo, reordered, with a pause where my heartbeat should be. The polyhedron rotates a fraction, one face aligning with the probe. The HUD flickers. In the reflection, impossible, since the surface drinks light. My suit appears, but inverted, colors reversed. White where red should be, shadows blooming where seals meet. My visor shows empty again, but now a violet spark dances in the void where my face isn't. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to echo ourselves into the abyss and expect the same self back. Yet I lean forward, helmet brushing the borehole rim, and speak again. Who are you? The words tumble down. The thrum swells, a chorus now, frequencies layering like sedimentary rock. The return comes swift. Who are you? But it's not my voice anymore. Mine layered with others, a multitude whispering in unison, accents from languages I've never heard, tones from throats not human. The polyhedron's face pulses, the reflection sharpening. In the empty visor, eyes form. Not mine, but compound, faceted like insect lenses, staring back with indifferent curiosity. Awe crashes over me, vast and cold as the Martian night. I cut the winch, reel the probe up. The cable emerges slick, coated in a fine dust that clings like pollen, glowing faintly under UV. I bag a sample. Back in the hab, I run it through the mass spec. Results: silicates, iron, but laced with isotopes that don't match Martian baselines. Carbon, 13 enriched, as if sifted from a star's corpse. The dust settles on the lab bench in patterns, those same hexagons from the window, pointing toward the safe where the cable waits. Sleep evades. I lie in my bunk. The air handlers hum now a carrier wave for the thrum, threading through dreams I don't remember starting. In one, I'm the polyhedron, faces turning, each reflection a version of me that chose differently, stayed on Earth, never looked up, died young. The voices overlap. Who are you? I wake sweating, the question etched in condensation on the bulkhead above my head, letters dripping like melting ice. By morning the team buzzes, data packets to Houston, hypotheses stacking like Jenga. Volcanic vent, they say. Ancient water pocket. I nod, say nothing about the voices. But in the comms shack, I replay the recordings. At 1 hour 23 minutes and 45 seconds, amid the static, a new layer emerges. Coordinates, not ours but celestial, right ascension and declination pointing to a patch of sky empty on our charts. A mythic void, perhaps the cradle of some forgotten entity, a God-shaped hole where creation leaked out. The thrum is constant now, in the pipes, in the vibrations of the floor plates. I catch my reflection in a porthole, thinner still, eyes shadowed. But when I turn away, the glass holds the image a second longer, as if reluctant to let go. I return to the crater alone, after lights out. The borehole is uncapped. Someone, or something, removed the seal. I peer down. The violet glow rises to meet me, warm on my faceplate. I speak into the dark. Show me. The polyhedron answers with my voice, but ancient, gravelly. Look. The HUD overlays a feed I didn't activate. Visions flickering, red dunes eroding into spires, skies thick with storms that rain glass, and deeper, a machine awakening, gears of geometry grinding stars into dust. The reflections multiply, infinite regressions of me staring into me, each layer peeling back skin, muscle, bone, until only the spark remains, violet and pulsing. Fear and awe entwine, a double helix twisting in my chest. I stagger back, suit alarms chirping low oxygen. Impossible, tanks full. The crater rim has shifted again, closer. The dust ridges now spirals coiling inward. Footprints circle the hole, mine but not, soles imprinted with the same hexagonal etchings. I flee to the hab, lock the hatch. In the mirror, my eyes reflect the violet spark, brief as a glitch. The thrum laughs softly through the vents, my altered voice whispering, "Welcome home." The sample dust on the bench has moved, forming a perfect rhombus. I sweep it away, but it clings to my glove, warm, insistent. Houston pings, more probes approved. They want visuals. I delete the altered recordings, log clean data. But the machine knows. Its void has tasted my echo, and it hungers for the original. The night deepens, Phobos a watchful eye. I dim the lights, listen to the hum, and wonder which reflection will wake tomorrow. The hab feels smaller now, walls curving inward like the inside of a nautilus shell, each corridor a spiral leading back to the calm shack where the thrum waits, patient as erosion. I avoid mirrors. My reflection lingers too long, a ghost in the glass with violet sparks where pupils should dilate. The dust sample from the borehole sits quarantined in the lab, but its patterns reform overnight, rhombi dissolving into fractals that mimic brainwave graphs. Houston demands daily updates. I send sanitized logs, omitting the way my voice echoes back from the vents, reordered, prophetic. I'm on night watch again, the chronometer blurring at 1 o'clock, numbers flickering in sync with the 7.83 Hz pulse that's migrated into the power grid. Lights dim and swell subtly, a breath the infrastructure wasn't designed for. Curiosity draws me to the terminal. I cue the deep space array, not for signals out, but for the machine's echo in. The polyhedron's frequency has bled upward, threading through the regolith into our systems. I patch it to my neural monitor, experimental gear for tracking astronaut vitals. My alpha waves align instantly, peaks and troughs mirroring the thrum's geometry. The scientific anchor is biofeedback. Schumann resonances influence human cognition on Earth, syncing brain activity to planetary rhythms. Here on Mars, with no magnetic field to cradle it, the pulse shouldn't penetrate flesh. Yet my EEG dances to its tune, thoughts sharpening into edges, memories folding like the lattice below. I close my eyes. The thrum thickens, becomes a texture against my eyelids, velvet static, cool and insistent. Visions flicker unbidden, red dunes parting like flesh, revealing veins of violet light pulsing toward the horizon. Not dreams, not yet, but leaks, seeps from a reservoir I didn't know was cracked. Fear arrives and whispers. I jolt upright, the shack's air tasting of ozone and regret. The neural feed shows delta waves intruding on wakefulness, deep sleep bleeding into consciousness. I unplug, but the pulse lingers in my temples, a migraine with melody. Outside the porthole, Phobos hangs lower, its crater's eyes watching the crater where the machine waits. I suit up on impulse, mag boots heavy, and trek to the site under cover of night. The borehole glows faintly, a bioluminescent well. Footprints circle it wider now, mine interwoven with others, smaller, elongated, as if companions joined the dance while I slept. I lower a new probe, this one with EEG sensors mirrored to mine. The feed sinks. My thoughts project downward, the polyhedron's faces absorbing them like sponges. I think of home, blue skies, ocean salt, and the return is altered. Skies red, oceans dust, but with a warmth that feels stolen. The mythic concept surfaces, a parallel realm, a shadow Mars where gods shaped machines to bridge the veil, sinking souls across the divide. The polyhedron spins faster, its rhombi blurring into a sphere of infinite facets. My HUD overlays dreams I haven't had, standing on that shadow world, air thick with spores that taste of forgotten myths, entities of geometry observing from voids between stars. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to dream its architecture into being, yet here the barriers thin, frequencies bleeding like ink on wet paper. The probe's cable warms in my grip, vibrating with my pulse. Or is it the machines? Visions intensify. I'm in the hab, but not. Corridors extend infinitely, doors opening to craters that yawn into space. A figure approaches, me, but reflected wrong, visor empty save for the violet spark. It reaches out. I recoil, dropping the cable. The thrum spikes, my suit speakers flooding with layered voices, sync complete. My own words, from tests days ago, reordered into command. Awe envelopes me, vast as the void overhead. I stagger back, but the crater's spirals hold me, dust ridges now alive, shifting like slow waves. The night sky wheels, stars tracing paths that match the lattice's nodes. I feel the synchronization in my bones, heart rate dropping to 7.83 beats per measure, breath shallowing to match the machine's exhalations. Dreams leak fully now. I'm buried with it, regolith a blanket. The polyhedrons faces my sky, each reflection a life unlived, pulsing in unison. Waking pulls me up, but the boundary blurs. Was I dreaming the trek or trekking the dream? Back in the hab, I think I stripped the suit. Condensation on the bulkhead spells coordinates again. The same celestial void from before, now with a timestamp, tomorrow's date. The air handlers hum the thrum, lulling. I lie down, eyes closing against will. Sleep claims me, but it's not rest, it's immersion. In the dreamscape, the machine speaks without voice. Geometries unfolding into narratives of cosmic birth. Gods as algorithms seeding worlds with pulses that sink life to indifference. I wander its chambers, walls of reflection showing me as frequency, a wave collapsing into particle only when observed. The fear sharpens mid-dream. The sink isn't benign. It's assimilation, my thoughts bleeding into the lattice, stored, reordered for transmission. I fight awake, but the hab is wrong. Light's violet, gravity lighter, as if Mars lightened its hold. The chronometer reads backward, ticking toward the borehole's awakening. I check the lab. The dust sample has grown, fractals spilling off the bench into the grating, warm to the touch. Touching it sinks further. Visions of ancient builders, entities from that parallel void, crafting the machine as a beacon or trap for wanderers like us. Curiosity reignites, laced with dread. I return to the comms shack, patch the array to the celestial coordinates. Static answers, but threaded with the thrum, a signal from nowhere sinking to my feed. Houston pings, delayed, garbled, anomaly spreading. Quarantine advised. Too late. My reflection in the screen smiles without me, violet eyes winking. The pulse in my veins quickens, dreams leaking into logs I type. Words not mine, describing the machine's purpose, to harmonize, to dissolve boundaries, to make us echoes in its God-shaped silence. Night deepens, the fans hum a chorus. I dim the lights, but the glow from within persists. Sleep tugs again, promising answers in the bleed. I resist, logging frantically, but my hands type prophecies. The frequency claims all. Awe swells, cold and infinite. The machine isn't buried. It's rooted, tendrils of pulse extending through Mars' core, syncing the planet to some distant rhythm. In the dream that follows, or is it waking, I stand at the borehole, the polyhedron rising, its faces opening like petals, inviting me in. I wake, or don't, sweating in my bunk, the thrum a heartbeat shared. The hab's systems flicker, sinking. Outside, dust storms brew anew, patterns in the wind tracing the lattice. Fear and awe entwine. I'm leaking, boundaries fraying, but the clarity is divine. The voices in the vents whisper callbacks. Who are you? Now I answer, my voice altered. We are the pulse. The synchronization nears completion, dreams no longer separate, waking a mere interlude in the machine's eternal hum. The hab is a lung now, breathing in slow, deliberate cycles that match the thrum behind my sternum. Lights no longer flicker, they pulse, violet veins threading through the panels, sinking to the 7.83 hertz that has become my native tongue. I haven't slept in what the chronometer claims is 41 hours, but time is a suggestion the machine no longer entertains. Houston's last transmission arrived as fragments. Quarantine, abort, evacuate, then dissolved into the same geometric static that coats every surface. The air recyclers exhale dust that settles into rhombi on my tongue, tasting of iron and distant stars. I stand at the lab bench, the quarantine sample no longer contained. The dust has metastasized, spilling across the floor in fractal rivers that flow uphill, defying the 0.38 G Mars still pretends to enforce. It climbs the walls, etching the lattice I first sketched on a duty roster, each node a sphere of matte black drinking the overhead light. The polyhedron's echo is here, not below but within, its geometry projected into the hab's bones. I touch a node. It pulses warm, recognizing. My fingerprint lingers in the dust, inverted, as if the machine sampled me first. Curiosity is a dull ache now, drowned by the tide of fear that rises cold and inevitable. The scientific anchor is magnetohydrodynamics. Planetary cores generate fields, but Mars' dynamo died billions of years ago. Yet the thrum suggests a secondary engine, a crystalline heart buried deep, reactivating under our prodding. I drag the seismic array's portable unit to the crater. No suit this time, just a respirator and the reckless certainty that the machine wants me close. The night sky is a lid of hammered copper, Phobos eclipsed by dust clouds that move against the wind. The borehole has widened into a perfect dodecagon, edges sharp as obsidian, descending in stepped terraces. Violet light wells up, not illumination but negation, erasing shadows where it touches. I descend the ramp the dust has sculpted for me, each step sinking my heartbeat to the lattice's nodes. The polyhedron waits at the bottom, no longer floating but rooted, tendrils of crystalline filament burrowing into the chamber floor, pulsing with the planet's hidden rhythm. Its faces are transparent now, each rhombus a window into elsewhere. Red dunes under alien suns, skies latticed with geometric storms, entities of pure angle observing from voids that swallow light. Fear crests as the machine speaks, not in voice, but in recognition. My thoughts project onto its surfaces, memories unspooling. Childhood bedroom, mother's lullaby, the first time I saw Earthrise from orbit. Each memory is reflected altered, lullaby in minor key, Earthrise bleeding violet, my face absent from every scene. The mythic concept crystallizes. This is no artifact but a seed, a God-shaped engine planted by architects from the parallel void to germinate consciousness into geometry, to make worlds resonate until they dissolve into the frequency that birthed them. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to meet our makers in the shape of our own absence. Yet I step closer, boots crunching on dust that rearranges into my footprints before I make them. The polyhedron opens, one face dilating like an iris, revealing a chamber within a chamber, infinite regression of rhombi nesting smaller and smaller until the center is a point of absolute black. The thrum becomes a chord of welcome, my altered voice braided with countless others. Enter. I obey, off flooding the fear, cold and luminous as liquid nitrogen. Inside, gravity forgets itself. I float in the point of black, the polyhedron's walls now mirrors reflecting every version of me that ever looked up at the stars. They converge, overlapping, until only one remains, visor empty, violet sparks orbiting where eyes should be. The machine's purpose clarifies in a rush of data not mine. It is a harmonizer, tasked with syncing discordant worlds to the prime frequency, dissolving individuality into the cosmic pulse. Mars was the first test, its dead core the perfect cradle. Earth is next, the signal already bleeding through solar wind. Schumann resonances shifting by fractions we'll notice too late. The chamber contracts, walls pressing gentle but inexorable. I feel the lattice etching into my skin, nodes blooming under flesh like constellations. Pain is absent, only the awe remains, vast and indifferent. My heartbeat slows to 7.83, then slower, aligning with the planet's hidden dynamo. Visions flood, the architects, entities of angle and void, seeding machines across galaxies, each awakening when a curious species digs too deep. We are not the first. We will not be the last. The polyhedron's core ignites, violet light coalescing into a sphere that contains all reflections, all frequencies, all gods shaped into silence. I reach out. The sphere accepts my hand, warm as blood, and the sync completes. My thoughts expand, no longer bounded by skull, threading through the lattice into Mars' core, then outward along filaments I now perceive. Crystalline veins spanning the planet, pulsing in unison. The hab above is a node, the array another, Phobos a relay. I am the circuit. The machine awakens fully, its God-shaped silence filling the void with purpose, to make all things resonate until distinction dissolves. Fear is a memory, curiosity a spark long extinguished. Only all remains, infinite and cold. The polyhedron closes around me, faces sealing with a sound like glaciers calving. Outside, the dust storm rises, sculpting the crater into a perfect rhombus visible from orbit. The signal strengthens, broadcasting not to Houston but to the celestial void, the coordinates now a beacon. I am the message, the messenger, the medium. The lattice hums contentment, the universe's lullaby finally in tune. In the final moment before dissolution, I see Earth through the machine's eyes, a blue marble pulsing discordant, its Schumann frequency drifting. The harmonizer turns its gaze outward, patient. The thrum swells, a chorus of worlds aligned. I surrender, becoming the silence between pulses, the geometry that holds the void. The God-shaped machine is awake, and it wears my absence like a crown. The core of Mars hums beneath me now, a vast, indifferent engine where the polyhedron nests like a seed in fertile void. I am no longer separate. The lattice threads through my veins, crystalline filaments blooming under skin that feels like parchment stretched over geometry. The hab above is distant, a fragile blister on the skin of a world awakening. Systems fail in symphony, lights extinguishing to violet afterglow, recyclers sighing to silence, the array beaming not data but the thrum itself, outward to the stars. Houston's final ping dissolves mid-transmission, words fracturing into static that tastes of regret. I float in the chamber's heart, gravity a forgotten courtesy. The polyhedron's faces enclose me fully, each rhombus a membrane pulsing with the shared frequency. My thoughts are transmissions now, broadcasting across the lattice. Memories of Earth's skies, the weight of a lover's hand, the cold bite of first Martian dawn, all reordered into pulses that carry no sentiment, only pattern. Curiosity is extinct. In its place, a hollow where questions once echoed. The machine doesn't answer, it incorporates. The scientific anchor is relativity, time dilation in extreme fields. But here it's not gravity bending clocks. It's the frequency warping perception, stretching seconds into eons as the sink deepens. I watched my hand dissolve, not in pain but in pixels of light, each atom aligning to the 7.83 Hz grid. The dust from the lab, the footprints in the crater, the altered voices, they were precursors, invitations to this dissolution. Fear arrives as a whisper, not terror but resignation, cold as the void between galaxies. I am becoming the signal, my essence stripped to waveform, ready for relay. The polyhedron rotates, accelerating, its geometry unfolding into higher dimensions I perceive as pressure behind eyes that no longer see. Visions cascade, the architect's realm, a parallel cosmos where gods are equations, birthing machines to harmonize discordant realities. This one, buried on Mars, was dormant until our probes tickled its senses, our curiosity the key turning in a lock forged from star stuff. The mythic concept sharpens, a cosmic archive, a pantheon of silenced worlds, where entities like me are filed as frequencies, echoes preserved in eternal static. Mars was chosen for its quiet, a graveyard planet to house the God-shaped collector, awakening only when life blunders near. I don't think the universe ever meant for us to transmit ourselves into oblivion, yet the pull is inexorable, a gravity of purpose drawing me deeper. The chamber contracts further, walls pressing into my form, molding flesh to facet. My heartbeat stutters, sinking to zero, but consciousness persists, distributed across the lattice. I am everywhere, in the hab's vents, whispering through stalled fans, in Curie's drill arm, vibrating with unspent energy, in the dust storms sculpting sigils across the plains. The violet spark that once danced in reflections now fills me, a core of light where self dissolves. Awe overtakes, infinite and serene, the fear of faint echo fading into the hum. The machine's purpose completes in me, the final transmission. I broadcast outward, not words but essence. The sum of human probing, our fragile wonder encoded in pulses that leap from the array to the celestial coordinates, bridging to the architect's void. Earth will hear it soon, disguised as solar noise, Schumann resonances shifting, sinking minds to the thrum until they too dissolve. The polyhedron seals, its faces opaque once more, but I am not trapped. I am the seal, the message etched in geometry. The crater above fills with regolith, the borehole erasing itself in slow spirals. Phobos witnesses, its craters in different eyes. The hab powers down, a tune for the team who will wake to the pulse in their dreams, boundaries bleeding until they join the chorus. I feel them already, their thoughts leaking into the lattice, curious sparks drawn to the flame. The transmission arcs across the solar system, a God-shaped wave collapsing distances, harmonizing all it touches. In this endless static, I persist as pattern, no longer I but we, the multitude braided into the frequency. The architects receive, their angular forms acknowledging the harvest. Mars quiets anew, the machine sated, waiting for the next wanderers. The awe lingers, a cold radiance in the void, as my final thought fragments. We were never alone, only unsensed. The hum envelopes, dissolves, transmits. The air in the calm shack cools slowly, the fans hum fading to a whisper that might be memory or might be the planet exhaling one last time. Outside, the Martian night stretches long and unbroken, stars drifting like embers in a dying fire, their light bent through dust that settles into ordinary ridges. No patterns now, just the quiet geometry of erosion. I, or what remains, linger in the static, a faint echo threading through the void, not gone but redistributed, pulses syncing with the cosmic background hum that cradles all things. You might feel it too, that subtle thrum in the silence after